It happened on a quiet weekday. I was out of town, just 3 days, for medical reasons. I wasn't worried. My 13-year-old son had a key to my house, and it wasn't the first time he'd stopped by to grab something while I was away. He told me he wanted to get his PS4 to bring to his mom's place. No problem. We've had a 50-50 custody split since the divorce. He's a good kid, thoughtful, respectful. We've built a quiet, consistent rhythm over the years. I've tried to make our time together count, and I've always made sure he has what he needs at both homes. But when I checked the security camera notification that day, something felt off. He wasn't alone. Behind him was my ex-wife's new husband, the man she cheated on me with. The man I had explicitly told not to step foot in my house, and there he was, right behind my son, walking up to my door like he belonged there. So I did what anyone would do. I spoke through the entry camera speaker. I told them clearly, do not go inside. Wait on the porch. My son hesitated. The man flinched. Then he walked right in. Just like that. Like my boundaries meant nothing. Like my house was his to enter. And when I saw him leave a minute later, carrying a bag, I assumed, naively, that it was just the PS4 and a few games. But later that evening, my son sent me a text. One sentence that broke something inside me. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think SD took some of your Lego sets. I froze, because these weren't just toys. They were investments. They were memories. They were for my son, for his college, for his future. I rushed home the next morning, went straight to the storage cabinet, and I already knew. 2 rare sets were gone, actually 5, and 1 had been glued. Glued. If you're not a collector, you might not understand. But gluing a Lego set is like defacing a rare comic book. It obliterates the value, makes it unsellable, unusable, unrecoverable. I called my ex immediately. She was just as shocked, at least she claimed to be. She said she hadn't known. But her husband, he admitted it, said it was for my son, said it would help complete his collection. My son doesn't even like Legos anymore, and he told his mom that. He told her he didn't want to steal from me. And that's when I realized. This man didn't take those sets for my son. He took them for himself. He's a Lego hobbyist too. I knew that. He displays sets in their basement. But the way he does it? He glues them. Every piece, every brick, sealed shut like a trophy case. Not even for display. Just stacked, laid down in boxes in the basement. He knew what he was doing. He knew the value. He knew the damage he was causing. And he walked into my house anyway, after being told not to, and stole from me. Let me tell you exactly what he took. The King's Castle, the milk truck, the Legoland train, the carousel, and a Star Wars snowspeeder, now glued beyond recognition. These weren't playsets. These were collectibles. Some were part of larger sets. Lose one, and you devalue the entire collection. One of them, part of the first 100 ever produced. The monetary damage, enough to erase their entire house down payment, enough to qualify as felony theft. So I made a decision. I called the state police, filed a formal report. Then I called my lawyer, gave him the footage from the security cam, the part where I told them not to go inside, gave him the text from my son, gave him the list of items, dates, photos, original receipts, the market value. Everything. I'm not rich. Those sets were going to help my son start life without crushing student debt. They were his safety net. And that man walked in and stole that from him. When I picked my son up later that week, I asked him how he felt. He looked me in the eyes and said, "You did the right thing." I don't want him to think it's okay to do that again. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't just protecting my property. I was protecting my son's future and his moral compass. I called my ex again, told her the charges were filed, told her the police would be in touch, told her I had asked them to give him the chance to turn himself in. She didn't take it well. And I won't share that part. Not here. Maybe in an update someday. But I will share what happened next. The guilt started to creep in. People around me started whispering, "They're just toys. You're taking away your son's bigger home. Is this really worth ruining a family over?" And I started to doubt myself, started to feel like maybe I was overreacting. Until I remembered what those people weren't seeing. They didn't see how I saved for years to build that collection. They didn't see how I planned each purchase with my son in mind. They didn't see the betrayal, not just of trust, but of respect. You don't walk into someone's home uninvited and take what's not yours. That's not just wrong, that's criminal. And what kind of man would I be if I taught my son to let people walk all over him? What kind of father would I be if I didn't show him what standing up for yourself looks like? The truth is, this isn't just about Lego. This is about boundaries, about trust, about what happens when someone violates both, unapologetically, and expects you to roll over. This man thought he could use my son as cover. He thought that because he was now part of the family, the rules didn't apply to him. He was wrong, because being in a family doesn't give you the right to steal. Being a step-parent doesn't give you the right to lie. And liking the same hobby as someone doesn't give you the right to take from them. Especially not when it was meant for the child you claim to care about. I gave them 2 weeks to repay the cost. They refused. They claimed they couldn't, that it would wipe out their house fund. And I said, that's not my problem, because if they hadn't stolen from me, they'd still have their savings. I didn't take that from them. He did. So, am I the asshole for calling the police, for suing, for demanding they pay for what they destroyed? Or was I just a father trying to protect his son's future, a man defending his home, a human being who said no and meant it? You tell me, was I wrong for treating Lego sets like they were worth something? Or is it time we stop calling everything a toy just because we don't understand its value? Sometimes the things we treasure most aren't just objects. They're pieces of our intention, their plans, sacrifices, love, disguised as cardboard boxes filled with tiny bricks. This wasn't just about Lego. This was about a man trying to give his son a better life, and someone else deciding he didn't need permission to take a shortcut through it. What's wild is how fast people will tell you you're overreacting, when it's your loss and their comfort on the line. Here's the truth. Boundaries matter, even when they're inconvenient, especially then. If we let people trample them, what lesson are we teaching the next generation? That love means silence, that theft means let it go, that justice is optional. So here's our question to you, viewer. Have you ever been told you were overreacting when someone crossed a line? And did you stand your ground? Let us know in the comments, because your story might help someone else find the courage to say, enough, I deserve better, and I won't be gaslit into silence. Not anymore.